Hey, it works. When it hits, right? So I'm driving. um, and I was just thinking about. So I'm gonna share a story, right? Something happened to my hot water tank, my hot water heater. So I had to call somebody to come and, fix it, right? Or see what's wrong with it. So I don't have hot water, right? This is why you buy memberships to stuff like AAA and AARP, because I have a gym membership and it's a 24-hour gym. So what do? I was showering in the gym already when I work out. But if I don't have time to work out in the morning, I'll just get up and I'll just go straight to the gym and take a shower and have all my clothes with me, and then I'll just go to work from the gym. So, which is kind of what people do already. And I remembered one of my last jobs had a gym in the building, and then they also had a shower in the office. So I kind of just got to thinking about productivity, because I go to the gym and I see these people working out. But when I work out at night. So I go and I check who's working out. And I just try to see the different types of people. It's very curious. It's people watching, but you get a good data sample on people. So, what does it have to do with authenticity? Well, A, I told you a vulnerable story. But B, I think we have the idea of productivity skewed. We have it the wrong way, and I know the whole return to office movement is kind of not helping, because everybody says, oh, when you're remote, you're not as productive, but we end up losing 2 to 3 hours of our lives commuting if we have to return to office. So it's a very, very sensitive debate. Personally, the job is the job, but and this is the thing that I'll stand for the companies for. The companies lose money when you decide to work remote for a company and you were hired in New York, so you get paid New York money, but you decide to move to Montana. And here's the thing, if you're able to do all the work on Eastern time when you're living in Montana, that's fine. That works. Go ahead. But you're not supposed to be making New York money, according to federal government, federal laws, ethics, right? Because each state has a different salary system. And a lot of people did that during COVID, so we're kind of seeing the fallout from that. Get rid of that. What I will say is that I think people misunderstand the concept of productivity. Productivity is managing the time you currently have. It's not about making more time. Right? It's not about revenge insomnia. Somebody told me what this was. It was staying up later past your normal bedtime so you can have time to yourself. Yeah, that's not healthy. Productivity is managing the time you currently have. It's not about making more time. It's not about sacrificing time from somewhere else. I was talking to this woman that became a resident, like a medical resident, and she was struggling with this. She was saying that she didn't want to wake up early because she's more of a night person, but she's also working like 11 hours in a hospital. And I told her, I said, well, you should honestly do what your body is comfortable with, because if you're out here forcing your body to do something, then you're not going to get the max benefits. Which goes into fitness, right? Get up, decent amount of sleep, be active in some way, eat decently enough. Because you're going to find out that your body needs sugar, it needs some processed stuff, it needs fat, it needs protein, it needs meat, right? Like, if you're plant-based, if you have an allergy, or you know that your body functions better when you're vegan or pescatarian or whatever, then do that, right? But a lot of people, they can get away with just eating normally, as long as it's in moderation. Because the more you work out, or the more you stay up late, you crave the sugar and you crave the fat. It works on both sides, and that's the dumb part. You could see bodybuilders and they need like processed sugar to make their veins pop out of their muscles, and you could be working the night shift and you're craving fatty food. Right? So either way, you're still going to have to take that in. You're still going to have to eat that. So it's moderation. And that's what time management is. That's what productivity is. It's moderation. So, for instance, I was at work and I had a chance to sit down and edit some videos. And I thought, okay, this is what job stacking is. Because if I can do 8 hours remotely and then 8 hours at the job I currently have at the same time, then I can just go to sleep as soon as I get home, or I could do something else. Whereas, every now and then I have to do a podcast somewhere else, or I have to do an event somewhere else, so I'm doing doubles. I'm basically working one shift and then going to work at another place. Not very good time management. Ideally, should we be able to live on our own with just one job? Yeah, we should. So I'm not saying go out and hustle. I'm not saying go do job stacking. But what I'm saying is, ideally, yes, we should be able to live off of one job. And that's there's nothing wrong with complaining about that. If you want to go to your government and say, hey, this is kind of fucked up, man. We can't get a 2-bedroom apartment off of any type of wage in any state. Yeah, you're damn right. That's something you should be fighting for. But also, try to get the remote job. Try to get a little side hustle. Just don't make your life about it. So, productivity. If you have a to-do list, finish your to-do list, but your to-do list should be daily. And don't feel bad if you don't cover all of it, because you know what's funny? We've tried to gamify everything, or we've tried to make everything an end-all be-all. And it's not supposed to be like that. And you end up falling into that mindset when you have relationships, whether it's your coworkers, your friends, your family, your partner, your job, right? You don't owe society anything, and society doesn't owe you anything, right? If you work, you're paying into Medicaid, you're paying into Social Security, into disability benefits, you're paying into that, you're paying taxes. You don't owe anything to your society and your government more than what you're getting taxed out of your check. Everything else comes to what you decide to do as a person and who you decide to do it for. So that's kind of the thing. So if you want to manage your time to where you're going to go to sleep and sleep for 10 hours, then don't feel sorry if you miss an event for somebody, or don't feel sorry if you miss a gig or a job, as long as it wasn't crucial enough for you to survive, right? Like if you had a deadline, complete your deadline. But don't say something to somebody and say, hey, I'm gonna come out and do this, and then in reality you don't have the time management to do it, or you don't have enough productivity to do it. Covering your ass sometimes means being, mean and selfish and saying, hey, I just don't want to do this anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. But people are going to try and drag you down, and people are going to try to sell you things, and people are going to try to preach the hustle. And you do what you want with it. You make that choice of what you want to do. But just don't blame other people when you say, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, or I fell into the hustle grind or the hustle culture or whatever. Don't blame other people, but blaming other people and forcing them to take accountability are different things. You both need to do that. You need to take accountability for yourself, and so do they. But you don't, and if you need to blame them a little bit, you can, but don't make them the sole purpose. Again, moderation. Everything is moderation. So, when you go out to work and you check your to-do list or you check what needs to be done, don't feel bad. But if you're wondering what's wrong with you or what issues you might have going on, you might want to check your productivity. Because I guarantee you that's the way you live your life. If you feel unproductive, it's because you're doing something that's not authentic for yourself. Because when you are authentic, your productivity shoots through the roof. And unfortunately, we've all been programmed the opposite. We're forced to go to jobs, we're forced to work business hours, 9 to 5, as if people can't be productive 6 to 8. People can't be productive during night shifts, or if they are, they're not celebrated. We treat those things like garbage. That's why daycares don't work overnight. Because when you have a family, you're supposed to have that 9 to 5 and then come home and be with your kids. And yet the school will do something stupid like have a school event at 10 in the morning. And then your job doesn't give you PTO or sick days. So when you're actually sick, you can't take the day off because you already took it off to go to the school event. None of it is authentic. So what the hell are we doing? It's just something to think about.